Hello everyone, my name is John Cadogan. I'm the Vice Principal at Logic and I'll be leading the residential trip to South Wales next week. So this is about the 7th or 8th time we've run this trip, and being a local South Walian, we're pretty well set up in terms of sort of where we're going, what we're doing, and the companies that we're using for the trip. So lots of experience in terms of running this activities residential. Just to give you some of the basics of what's happening, so we are travelling by minibus and we're going to be leaving on Monday morning about 9 o'clock. It's about a 3.5 hour drive down to South Wales before we start our activities on Monday afternoon, and we're planning on returning about 2 o'clock on Wednesday. The campsite that we're using is a campsite called Acorn. We've used this for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's really well set up for our students. We've got a private field set up for us. We've also got a shower and toilet block available just on the edge of that field so the students can use those. They're all individual cubicles, showers and toilets, plus mirrors and everything else they need to be in there. In terms of camping, we've got tents provided for students. Students will camp in groups within their tents of maybe sort of 3 to 5 per tent, but we don't allow anyone to camp on their own in their own individual tent, just from a health and safety point of view. We're about a mile from the beach, so I'm sure at some point we'll have a chance just to pop down to the beach and have a look, and that'll be a common theme throughout, where we're trying to get students out and about as much as possible and doing lots of activities. In terms of food, so we use a caterer. We realised a long time ago that asking students to cook their own food is not the best idea. So we've got a caterer that will provide our meals for us. That'll start with Monday evening will be our first meal. That'll be a barbecue. We then have breakfast provided on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. We also have a packed lunch provided on Tuesday lunch and an evening meal on Tuesday evening. That's normally a selection of fajitas. Never had a problem with the food. Food's always been really good, very plentiful. Our biggest problem is normally trying to get some of our students to eat some salad, but we will keep battling with that while we're away. Hopefully by now we've received all the dietary information from students, and then that will be passed to the caterer in the next day or two, so they're fully aware of what we need to do. In terms of activities, like I said, we're going to drive down on Monday morning. Our first planned activity will be on Monday afternoon, and that is a trampoline park in Cardiff. We are then planning on heading to the campsite to get all our bags done, put up our tents, and we're doing some practice with students on that this week. Students can put all their own tents up. If they are bringing their own tent, they do really need to know how to put that up. So ideally, they've had some practice with that, or they just use our ones. After that, we're going to head to Merthyr Mawr Sand Dunes for a treasure hunt, which students will do in small groups, and we'll have teachers at different points and places throughout that. Come back to the campsite for dinner, which, like I said, is normally a barbecue on Monday evening, and then we normally do some trips down to the beach for students to have a bit of a walk, game of football, play around in the rock pools, things like that, on the Monday evening. Tuesday we'll be up early, about 7 o'clock for breakfast, and then we're heading off to a place called Cowbridge for paintballing. We'll then have lunch provided us by our caterer, and then we're heading off to Rest Bay in Porthcawl to go surfing. Both those activities, like I said, we've used for the last couple of years. Really good group of people running those, really safety conscious, great with the students that we work with for, good fun, get really on really well with them, and as I say, those things have always been really, really positive. We'll then plan either to head straight to Barry Island Fun Fair or go for dinner first and then head to Barry Island. Just depends on timings for that. And this is a bit where we will give students a little bit of freedom, where they can go off in small groups, go to the fun fair, see what's going on around the beach, go and get an ice cream, go into some of the arcades that maybe are there, and also go and get their photo taken where Gavin and Stacey was filmed just on the front in Barry Island. Wednesday morning, again up early, 7, 8 o'clock, pack down the tents, excuse me, pack up all the minibuses, and then the plan to drive back, arriving at Logic at about 2 o'clock. At which point then students are able to go home, and then we will see them the following day for our last day on the Thursday. Like I said, the companies we're using, we've used many times before, fully licensed companies delivering our outdoor activities and are really good. And again, just some more information about sort of where we are taking our students over the course of those few days. The key details for you, just so you know what's going on. A lot of these I've already covered. Just think about what students need to bring on that first day. We won't have our first meal till about 7-8 o'clock, so the main thing is to make sure they've got enough food and drinks to last for the day. There will be opportunities to buy stuff at services and potentially at shops, but they probably need to just make sure they've got everything that they need up until that point. They also may want to bring a spare t-shirt or a jumper, depending on the weather, because they might get a little bit sweaty at the trampoline park and might want something different to put on after that time. Any students that have got medical stuff that they need to bring, if they can bring that in a clear plastic bag with clear instructions, and give that to Miss Core on Monday morning on arrival, and then she will oversee making sure students are taking medicines, or students can go to her if there are any particular issues that they need to raise on that. We've talked about the tents, obviously, that we'll have students in small groups already. The other thing to note, just in terms of phones, so we will have students can bring their phones. There will be times that we're happy for them to use them. There'll be times where we ask them to put them away, particularly when we're doing activities. Anything they bring is at their own risk. We are going to be in the countryside. We are going to be sort of out and about on beaches and in fields and things like that. So they may want to think about whether they do bring that. For you guys, in terms of communication, key thing to think about is that if there's a problem, we'll get in touch with you. If you're not hearing from us, there's nothing to worry about. We will try and send messages back to the school to share with you, just to say, that everything's okay, or that we've arrived well. But ultimately, if you're not hearing from us, your child is fine, and there are no problems there. Something I'm sure we're not going to have to worry about, but if there are any specific issues with students, then we would look to bring them home immediately. But I'm sure that won't be the case, and it's not something we've had to worry about so far when we've run these trips previously. If you've got any questions, please feel free to drop me an email or give the school a call. There is a letter going home with your child today, so they will have that with all of this information repeated on there, and it does have my email and my phone number on there if there is anything specific that you wish to raise with me over the next few days. Other than that, I'm sure next week's going to be absolutely amazing. It normally is. Students normally have a great time, and they will come home absolutely shattered and ready for bed on Wednesday afternoon. Like I said, if you've got any questions in the meantime, please get in touch. Thank you very much.